I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore! Let's all unite!
About the King Alfred's plan years ago. And we found out that during Lyndon B. Johnson, you have to realize Lyndon B. Johnson was the president that was put in place under the Bushes, under the New World Order, under the CIA, because JFK did not want to go with the program. No sooner as LBJ was put in place, what did you get? The Vietnam War. See, they needed us for the war. They wanted him to enforce the war, to keep the war going. Now, during that time, they came up with a plan that would enslave our people in concentration camps and kill off the government red list, or those that are amongst the poor who could see.
I have decided we really need camps for adults. So, maybe mix it up a little bit. You can have the red cabin.
As long as they work.
Cabin.
As long as we work. See, at that time, they were planning, okay, we'll put them in camps, and we'll just, like we do with your prisons, we'll have them work for our corporations. Ronald Reagan, Rex 84, he implemented the plan to include Hispanics, to include not just black people, but the Hispanic population or the Latino population, who was also growing in America. So that's what Ronald Reagan did. See, the presidents are all puppets, and they're just going with the
federal agencies. National Security Council.
National Security Council.
Department of Justice.
Department of Justice.
Central Intelligence Agency.
CIA.
Department of Defense. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Department of Interior.
No rogue terrorist group or terrorist activity anywhere in the earth. They pay their lone agents to do these things, to blame it on whoever they're going to demonize and go against. That's just that's war propaganda. That's what they do in war. If there's a person you want to take down, okay, let's just say that something was connected to this person, and that they just lie and say this person is planning on doing this, and let's demonize them to make everyone believe our story, so that now we can go against these people. That's all this is. It's war propaganda. But now the war is against citizens. Can't you see this? All these agencies are in place in America as if someone is trying to do something to them. These people that they're doing this against just want to live their lives. Bug out, or what you would call preppers, or go into rural areas. I'm going to go into that in a moment also. Because see, that's the plan for a lot of people. Well, listen, I'm going to go into a rural area where I can be safe from government.
Under federal jurisdiction, National Guard units, state police, participating local agencies under federal jurisdiction, city police, county police.
Now it says county police and city police. Do you notice that now the police are in full authority or under full control of the elite? You notice that they are like a separate faction that don't even protect and serve the people anymore? They're actually a hand of the government against civilians? You think that's by chance? I need you to read the memo to National Security Council. Even before 1954. Read.
Even before 1954, when the Supreme Court of the United States of America declared unconstitutional separate educational and recreational facilities, racial unrest and discord had become very nearly a part of American way of life. But that way of life was repugnant to most Americans. Since 1954, however, that unrest and discord have broken out into widespread violence, which increasingly have placed the peace and stability of the nation in dire jeopardy.
There have been high sentiments in which the black people are rising above their programming, in a nutshell. This is in this memo. It says, being that these people are learning to arm themselves, protect themselves, and don't want government interference or government intervention, they may grow as a cancer within the country to topple security. That's the memo they made in 1954. that we must watch the population of these minorities, because they're not taken to our programming. They don't fear us anymore. Build these camps, and build these camps now. Started building the camps privately. Who was building the camps? It was all under military construction. Links right back to those who control Halliburton today. They were building the camps back then, right up under your nose. They was picking areas within the states, outside of the cities. Military. This is the military grid planning a mass roundup and extermination of its civilians. And I'm talking in 1954, 1960.
Under King Alfred, the nation has been divided into 10 regions.
10 regions.
In case of emergency, minority members...
Now hold up. That's how you know Barack Obama must be Satan's son. He signed into legislation the 10 governors a year and a half ago that will allow, in a state of an emergency, for 10 governors to have full power under the president. They will be over the 10 grids, the 10 concentration camps. They will be what we would call super wardens for the government over the population that are in these camps, after what you would call a so-called emergency. Read it.
In case of emergency.
In case of an emergency.
Minority members will be evacuated from the cities by federalized National Guard units.
Read that again.
Minority members will be evacuated from the cities by federalized National Guard units.
By National Guard units. Do that sound like Katrina to you? Sounds familiar, don't you? Don't it? Guess what? The hurricane did not cause the flooding. The levees being blew by black water caused the flooding. So calling it Katrina is a joke. That was total espionage. That was total government military testing, beta testing against civilians, against black people. Against black
Minority members will be evacuated from the cities by federalized National Guard units, local and state police, and if necessary, by units of the regular armed forces, using public and military transportation, and detained in nearby military installations until a further course of action has been decided.
Until a further course of concentration camps after the emergency throughout the whole country that will be controlled under the president, under 10 governments, which just so happened was signed into legislation about a year ago. To show you, the president just follows the memo. We had the memo. We was reading this before we knew what a Barack Obama was. No one knew Barack Obama in 2004, 2005, 2006. He just came up out of nowhere. So we were reading this before he actually signed this into legislation and say in the state of an emergency, we need 10 governors that will report directly to the president. Predator drones. They knew this. So now they got the Predator drones, and they're going to use the attack on the so-called constitutionalists to claim that these people are planning an attack against the cities and against the state, and they're just going to bomb it with Predator drones. And no one will live to tell your story. They will spin your story and say that you were planning some terrorist activities. And then he signed the legislation, the 10 governors that will be over the 10 regions against the poor. What will happen? Who have they demonized to put into these places within a 24-hour period in which they would go 4 in the morning to take these people away into the camps in the borders of America? You're not going to be able to do it within Canada, America, or Mexico, because why? They're going to merge as one, government-wise, power-wise. They're going to merge as one, and that grid is going to be throughout that one continent. All the rich are going to go into different parts of Brazil and all that. They're doing that now to prepare for what's about to happen on their slave grid. In Canada, they got bunkers and all that there too. They got bunkers under the mountains over in all the way from the West Coast all the way into Virginia. They got an underground cavern. So they're preparing something, brothers and
Surveillance in the
sisters.
sky now. The U.S. military is testing out a new cruise missile defense system.
That's right, and it's a large blimp-like balloon that will hover over the Baltimore area for 3 years using radar to scan targets on the ground.
The Army today is unveiling a spectacular new tool. Right there, you are seeing it for the first time. It is a blimp-like airship that will be used as a new cruise missile defense system. Privacy advocates are leery over the system's ability to monitor moving objects.
We got a small problem in the black community. See, we got drama with that police brutality. Motherfuckers don't realize that niggas is getting fed up. Cops need to be re-educated on exactly what their job is. Them motherfuckers don't realize that protect and serve mean us. Next cop run up on me, search me down, make me get face down, and ain't got probable cause. It's gonna be the reason why I make the motherfucking news. In a big way.
Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad.